that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream segment of Mikasa Sukasa. And I, as always, am your humble host, Niko House. And today, I wanted to go over a little bit of that nefarious Wall Street donor meeting. You know, the big, scary meeting that was supposed to be private, completely closed off to the press. You know, it was just supposed to be Tulsi talking to a bunch of, you know, I heard JP Morgan was actually going to rise from the dead and show up there with $1 million on the table and say, Tulsi, take us to the promised land. That's what the word on the street was if you was asking the rest of YouTube. But, hey, that's what they said. So she, surprisingly, it was recorded and she posted the video. Yeah, I know. What a surprise. Tulsi did the same thing she has literally done since the beginning of her campaign. What a surprise. Now, in this video, she talks about all the things that you would expect her to talk about. She talks about anti-war. She talks about the election. She talks about big money in politics. She talks about reinstating Glass-Steagall. Weirdly enough, her Omid Malik, who was the guy who hosted the event, seems to be as pissed at the powers that be, and the crowd even seems to be as pissed at the powers that be as we are, which is a little interesting because I know Omid isn't necessarily an angel, right? He doesn't seem to be, as far as his political pragmatism, it seems like he's more on the side of populism. Like I said, being a boutique banker who offers alternative investments. I know, like a quote unquote boutique unemployment risk management CEO, where they offer alternative options to the Equifaxes of the world and other major players in the unemployment risk management firm to make sure that people are really being taken care of. So, like, I know he's not. I don't think he's necessarily an angel, but it was just weird to hear how forceful he was about, like, asserting the reason that he brought Tulsi there was because of her populist, anti-war, anti-crony capitalism views. So, in this video, Tulsi had some things to say. She had a lot of things to say, but she was asked specifically about impeachment. Now, I want to play the video for you, well, these particular parts. And you all kind of know how I feel about impeachment. Weirdly enough, you would think that Tulsi, like, watching my videos or something, or like she talks to me, or I don't know. Nah, I'm just kidding. She don't be caring about what I'll be saying. But her answer is pretty interesting, and it definitely sets her apart from a lot of other people. Let's take a listen.
You know, even an impeachment vote or holding in contempt, like ultimately at a practical level, what real result will that bring? These guys are not going to lose their jobs. It's not going to happen. The Senate's not going to cooperate. But if we do our jobs in the House, where the budget originates, where these appropriations bills originate, that's ultimately the power that Congress has.
Would you favor impeachment?
I think that ultimately, if we think about what's best for the country, impeachment will further tear our country apart. I think it's important for the country to defeat Donald Trump in 2020 and to make our case to voters to make that decision. So there's no question, there's no doubt about the direction the American people want to go in this country.
Bruh. Man, I'm so tired of it. Tulsi, look, okay, I'm already getting, you know, they call me all kind. I'm obsessed. You know, I can't get over the Tulsi Gabbard campaign. I'm too close to the campaign, and you're making this way too difficult, Tulsi. If you would just stop practicing common sense, then I would stop having to report on your commonsensical answers, okay? You need to start making my job to hate you and to stop propping up a progressive candidate so difficult by presenting such logically and ideologically, not to mention strategically, consistent arguments. I'm just appalled at your selfishness. Because if you would stop making statements like these, then I would be able to stop doing videos on them. And then people would stop saying how much you just love Tulsi. Has nothing to do with statements like this. Man, I wonder how people felt whenever I was doing my videos on Bernie. Well, I still do videos on Bernie, but I wonder how they feel about those. Probably not as strongly. Did you say, now, I just want to make sure I heard this correctly, and y'all let me know. Did she say, we should beat him in the ballot box because it would further divide the country, and the best way to beat anybody in this particular situation, especially while we're coming on the cusp of a presidential election, would be to make your case to the American people as to why that is the bad alternative and why we are the better alternative. And that way we get the mandate of the American people alongside beating Trump and getting him out of office. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's almost like she goes from house to house to house to house to house to event to person to people, and has realized that maybe impeachment is not as desired as what most people may think. And considering how in touch she is with the libertarian wing of independence, I would probably listen to her, because I imagine she knows what she's talking about, which is why she's the only one who's been able to articulate the not anti-impeachment, but just not pro-impeachment argument better than literally anybody else. I mean, that's running for office. She understands the climate that we're in. She understands how divided we are, and she understands that the impeachment at this very juncture is predicated on a false investigation from obstruction that was never really obstruction, because the investigation was wrong to start to begin with. It was literally confirmed that it was made out of partisan political agendas. And she understands that this information is out there and more people are privy to it than what others may think. And as, once again, another consistent part of her message, why are we going to try and win this election by dividing the country further? That's a Republican tactic. That's a neocon tactic. That's a Democrat tactic. That's a neoliberal tactic. That's an establishment tactic. Do you know what a populist does? A populist candidate does? They gain victory through unity, by unifying behind the principles that really encompass all of the needs of not only the citizens here in the States, but around the world. Impeachment is my side versus your side. In this particular case, it's my side versus your side. Impeachment is Democrats versus Republicans, quote unquote conservatives versus quote unquote liberals. But going into an election where we saw the country damn near more divided than we have in a while. So weirdly enough, more unified and more divided and more unified. I feel like a lot of us are unified in the people that we dislike in our government, but we're still divided about how to go about business in that regard. And so when Tulsi is saying we need to beat him at the ballot box, that is the best strategy to make sure that the people are on your side when Trump is out of office. Because it ain't going to be quite that simple. If you get him out of office, there's no guarantee that you're going to win at that ballot box. You ain't going to get him out of office. So she already knows. That's why she said pragmatically, what is it going to end up as? You're not going to get him out of office. The Senate's going to kill it. They don't even have 100% of the Democrats behind this idea, by the way. They're like, oh, Trump is going to be exposed as corrupt. Oh, God. If only being exposed as a corrupt businessman would stop Trump from winning the presidential election, because people cared about it so much that it would have stopped them from voting for him when you ran nonstop news stories about Trump being a corrupt businessman. Did you all forget? Because I literally cannot forget. Because if anybody was watching, then you were there when they ran nonstop stories about his corruption, his bankruptcies, the porn star. That was the thing. Grab him by the JJ, all that. Remember all those stories? Over and over and over and over. Literally, Trump's campaign was Trump's administration was connected to the Jeffrey Epstein case. This recent one about him getting released early and a person with him from his administration was involved in it. And bruh, after all of that, you think that some corrupt business ties are going to turn his supporters off? I think you're grossly underestimating the type of people we are dealing with. Because the problem when you make an argument about the corrupt business practices is that we all have paid attention to politicians. Corrupt business practices seems like it's a damn requisite to get the job in any sector of government at this point. 99% of y'all are guilty of it as far as the politicians are concerned. Nancy Pelosi is worth $100+ million as a lifetime Congress member. Really? Come on, peeps. Come on. This is real life. This is real life. There are real consequences to nonsensical political agenda. And you know what? I don't only feel this way. Tulsi feels this way as well. Let's go look at what she said later on about this particular subject.
Up a valid point though about accountability. I think this is the kind of conversation that we should be having. I think the problem that I've seen in Washington is statements made by different leaders in Congress have been all about the political calculation, which for me, for everyday Americans, are like, that. Seriously, I'm sick and tired of you guys playing politics.
Can I run that back? Can I run that back? Please, let me run it back. Let me run it back.
Is statements made by different leaders in Congress have been all about the political calculation, which for me, for everyday Americans, are like, that.
Oh shit. Oh, Tulsi doesn't stop giving a fuck. Oh God. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ooh, civility. Tulsi, civility. Gotta run that one more time. We're gonna run it back one more time.
Problem that I've seen in Washington is statements made by different leaders in Congress have been all about the political calculation, which for me, for everyday Americans, are like, that. Seriously, I'm sick and tired of you guys playing politics. Talk about what's real. And so
talk about, oh no, she didn't. You better stop playing over here listening to Jay-Z and Drake. She said, fuck that shit. Talk about what's real. Man, Lord, baby Jesus. Listen. You can't get any more authentic than that. Because when you are really, not even just in 2019, but in 2016 as well, when you really break down what everything we've seen in society, from the elections to the protests to the rise of independent journalism to censorship to I mean everything, what it all comes down to is literally exactly what she said. Fuck that shit. That is literally what fuck that shit 2020. Keep it real. I don't want to hear the political calculations. I don't want. That's what pissed me off about Bernie Sanders when it came to Julian Assange. I know he eventually did speak out on it, but that shit pissed me off because everybody in their heart knew it was a political calculation. So he lost a lot of support that day. A lot of support. And it sucked because he had nothing really but support to be gained by backing free speech, by backing Julian Assange. Not necessarily because you like him or dislike him. Y'all don't know Bernie as a person, but y'all love him because of what he means to the revolution. So I wish he didn't do that, but that was political calculation, and a lot of people were like, fuck that shit. They were like, Tulsi, be quiet, don't say nothing. Guess what, Tulsi? Fuck that shit. Went right on MSNBC. Did some bullshit. She ain't say that verbatim, but I'm just saying. When everybody else wanted to finally quote the establishment, tout the establishment narrative on attacking Julian Assange and blah, blah, blah. Even when they realized that the administration was going to bring other charges on him, their attacks were, their quote unquote support of the free press was still political calculation. But guess what? Tulsi still's like, fuck that shit. I'm going to do a video and tell you exactly how I feel about it. When everyone else was, Elon, she apologized. Elon's super sweet. Elon is doing the right thing. Elon, like they were basically trying not to be called anti-Semitic while simultaneously like giving some half-assed defense of Elon because at this point, as a Democrat, it was expected of you to defend her, or you would, at least as a progressive or pretending to be progressive, or you would be attacked for it. Yeah, Tulsi was like, fuck that shit. Y'all are wrong. Elon is right. You're smearing her because she's anti-war Muslim. That's why you're coming at her. Fuck that shit 2020. Hey, anybody want to get bumper stickers for this? Anybody? Bumper stickers. Somebody want to send them? You can mail it to me, Hold up. Can we rewind that? Rewind one more time. Hey, one more time, y'all. Run that back.
Problem that I've seen in Washington is statements made by different leaders in Congress have been all about the political calculation, which for me, for everyday Americans, are like, that. Seriously, I'm sick and tired of you guys playing politics. Talk about what's real.
Yeah. Thanks for the super chat from Alpha Lobster. New York Times put out a bogus front page article today with that smears people like James DeFranco as alt-right. I'm actually not familiar with James DeFranco. Corporate media is coming out to shut us up. I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm a prolific fundraising master of conspiracy theories. So, yeah. Oh, man. Fuck that shit 2020. Sorry, mama, but that is it. That's the motto now. You brought this on yourself, Tulsi. If you're being honest, like, this is what you're going to be known for the rest of the campaign season, and it's okay. That's okay. It's cool. Oh my God, y'all, we gonna go, but can I run it back just one more time? Just one more time. One more time. Okay, one more time. I just can't help it. Best believe this is going up on Twitter.
Problem that I've seen in Washington is statements made by different leaders in Congress have been all about the political calculation, which for me, for everyday Americans, are like, that. Seriously, I'm sick and tired of you guys playing politics. Talk about what's real.
And with that being said, I don't know what else we can end that. That's a perfect note to end that on. So thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream segment of Mi Casa es Su Casa. Make sure you go shout out Tulsi. It's always good after being attacked for 2 days. She'll never say it. Bernie, I'm sure, same way. But when you've been attacked and maligned for 2-3 days straight, when people are trying to claim that you're gonna be somebody different than you have been for the last, for the entirety of them being aware of your presence, like, it could take a toll on you. I'm sure it has taken some type of toll on her for a little bit. And so going out and showing her love on Twitter and showing her love on Facebook, it could be a pick-me-up that you all aren't even aware is making her feel better. Because she does pay attention to these things. She does feel the love. And so go shout her out, show her some love. Fuck that shit 2020. And always remember people more than anything else. Find your balance. Peace.